A virtuous woman is not compatible with a bum. Some men hate to hear this, but the truth is the truth. With that being said, I want to speak about a question that we got earlier this year that we were recently probed about yet again. That does a really good job of highlighting the challenges that we have among our brothers in this walk. I want you to read this question now, just so that way y'all have background and context. This was an email that we received at truespiritofchrist.com, support@truespiritofchrist.com. Now, on the True Spirit website, you can submit entries, contact us. We have avenues to reach out. Out of all of the many questions that we could receive, there was a brother who posed this question. And we want to give it the time publicly to give a response. Now, I know that the support and outreach team did give a private response, yes?
Yes, sir.
But now we want to give a response publicly, okay? So, Brother Anonymous says,
Shalom. I had a question about brothers having multiple wives. I remember you saying yourself, Elder Uzziah, that 1 out of 3 men are sexless. So how can brothers have multiple wives when most brothers can't get one?
Are you ready for the answer? The question is, how can brothers have multiple wives when most brothers can't get one? Because many males aren't desirable in a woman's eyes. Some men are more desirable than others. Am I speaking rocket science?
Nope.
King David was more desirable than the average man. Abraham was more desirable than the average man. Gideon was more desirable than the average man. But the better question to ask is, why can't most men get one wife?
Fatality.
I'll defer to an Edomite psychologist. I'll let him explain it to y'all, since you won't believe it if it comes out of my mouth. Now, I'm gonna just show y'all this. Women are making society polygamous. The surprising consequence of female success. So for all of our critics and detractors, I just want you to know, this topic is not initiated by us.
Nope.
Women are making society polygamous. And you're going to see from a doctor why that's the case. In response to the question, how can some brothers, like King David, for example, have more than one wife while the guy written in Proverbs, being a mean man, had none?
Fatality.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is women are making society polygamous. Now, this is obviously a very provocative.
Now, again, I want to point this out. Don't say nothing to me.
Nope.
Women are doing this, and he's going to break it down how women are doing this.
Title, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't true. And I hope to back it up with some evidence and arguments in this episode. I will say at the outset that I don't think...
Now, I want to first go to this clip right here. We're going to take this to 118.
Now, to understand why this is happening, why women are making society polygamous, you have to first understand that women today are absolutely crushing it. While there was a gender gap that clearly favored men 50 years ago, we now have a gender gap that clearly favors women. And in many domains, the size of this gender gap is larger than the size of the gender gap that we had a half century ago. Probably for the first time in human history, in most Western societies, childless women under 30 are earning more than childless men under 30. Women are graduating from high school, from college, from postgraduate institutions at a significantly higher rate than men. In fact, at a nearly 2-to-1 ratio. They are doing very well. So
now, let me just bring something out real quick, because now I want to address the women. Men, I addressed you first. I said, don't act like we're the ones that made this up.
Nope.
This is what women are doing. And for all of you ladies, this is what y'all wanted. Remember, career. Congratulations, you created a new problem.
Fatality.
Remember, you wanted equality. You wanted the opportunity for education. You wanted good jobs. And guess what, ladies? Y'all have been killing it so much, you've been outpacing the average man. Now, I wonder what comes on the other side of that.
Oh, hooray, women. That said, all this success does come with an unintended consequence with respect to the dating market. And
now, I want you to understand, it comes with an unintended consequence. Let's see what the unintended consequence is of women having more worldly success.
So what is the unintended consequence? In order to understand it, you first have to appreciate that women tend to date hypergamously. For those of you who have never heard this term before, hypergamy is the tendency to date across and up status hierarchies. To put it simply, women want a man who is at least as good as her, if not better. And better, of course, is how women...
Because remember, there's a term in marriage called marrying up. Women, they want to go for the best man they can find. So just imagine now, hey, I've gone to school. I've made good grades. I've got a good job. I'm an independent woman. Well, you're still hypergamous. You are a woman. What's the consequence?
Choose to define it because it's for the cat to decide which milk is good. However, with respect to some very obvious metrics, women tend to marry men who are older, taller, stronger, higher status, and higher earning. And here's the rub. If women are outperforming most men, and women continue to date hypergamously, then voila. You have an increasingly shrinking pool of men that the majority of women would even consider as candidates for dating and mating. And that's bad for women because fewer eligible men significantly increases the intra-sex competition for a dwindling pool of potential mates. And it's also bad for most men because most men are just flat out being disqualified from the sexual marketplace. On the other hand, if you...
Stop. Now again, this is not an Israelite saying this.
Nope.
This is a licensed psychologist saying this. The doctor is saying, in this modern world, it's created a phenomenon where in all the fighting that many of our black female parents and grandparents did for these very rights, this is the life that you created.
Fatality.
But I guarantee you, you'd be hard pressed to find any black woman that would own up to this. You would be hard pressed, Elder Yakin, to find one black woman to say, in all that time when I was following those white women back in the 1960s, I'm free, I'm liberated. Did I ever stop to think, now if I say I'm equal to or better than a man, that means I'm going to be passing a lot of men up. So when I go and pass up a lot of the men, that means I only want but a few men.
Fatality.
So again, ladies and brothers, don't poke your lip out over here.
Nope.
This is what you wanted. And the psychologist has documented women are making society this way. It's the surprising consequence of female success. Now, we would be wise to know how to manage this. But as the Bible says, there's no new thing under the sun. Women are hypergamous by nature. Let's go to the next clip. We're going to look at the 6-minute mark. And again, just ask sisters in a congregation. Ask them, do you want to marry just any kind of brother?
Nope.
Some of these brothers in the truth, Elder Yakin, they want us to go into forced marriage. they want us to get on some cuckoo stuff, like what was that dude's name? Warren Jeffs, to say, oh, okay, well, there's a man right here, there's a woman right here, y'all gotta get together.
Fatality.
No. We don't do that here. We do things according to the Most High's law. His laws, statutes, and commandments outline what is and what is not permissible pertaining to marriage. So now we're going to go and look at the next clip.
First place, you have to remember that more men are getting less sex than they had 10 years ago. So if this is a conspiracy on the part of men, they're doing a really bad job of it. And in the second place, women are gatekeepers of sex. These women are not having sex with a small...
Because I want you to notice what he said, Deacon. He said, ladies, if you think that this is something that's coming from men, you got it wrong. Because if this is a man's concoction, it works against the average man.
Fatality.
Men are the ones losing here because 1 out of every 3 men are sexless. This is a natural consequence of a woman's success.
Smaller subset of men against their will. It's the women who are functionally voting with their feet that it's either these men or no men at all for me, thanks. And what's the likelihood that...
So I want you to notice that. He said it's either these men or no men at all. And you can see that that's a posture that many women take. We show you all the video clips. We show you how a lot of men are being disqualified. We're not the ones telling women to do that.
Nope.
So now we just got to look at this and see. I want to show y'all the last part of this clip. Let's get this at 7:18.
So this is one of the unintended consequences of women's recent success. And what are the solutions? Well, we know that there are several bad or unlikely ones, including reactionary social movements that relegate women to traditional gender roles.
Oh, you mean like the truth? Oh, you mean like BHI? The doctor is saying, as a result of this phenomenon, 2 things are going to happen. One, you're going to see an uprising of social groups that demand that you revert back to traditional gender roles, which, to the extent that we teach God's laws, we're going to teach it as it is written. But here comes the problem, Deacon Shammah. Some of these brothers in the truth, they want to create laws to make a woman like them.
Fatality.
You wanna create laws where a woman is forced to marry you. Some of these brothers, they want to hop in a time machine and go back to King David's time and say, no, Abigail.
Nope.
David, he's already got a wife. You got to come marry me. I don't have a job. I smell like dunghill, but marry me because I want to practice socialism in the truth. That's not what this is about. Women are hypergamous by nature. They're biologically driven to want the best man that they can find. So rather than crying about other men and what they're getting, we teach our men to strive to be the best man that they can be so that this becomes a non-issue.
Fatality.
We teach our men, strive to become the best version of yourself so you don't need to sit up crying. The scripture says a wife is a possession, right? You don't need to spend your life as a grown man crying about another man's possessions.
Nope.
Work hard, brother. Get your own possessions. Society is big enough for you to win. But a lot of times, and you know what it is, Deke, a lot of times these are questions rooted in insecurity, envy, and laziness. Oh my, wouldn't it be so much easier, Deacon, if somebody just put a car in my lap rather than me having to go and buy one? Rather than me having to get up and work every single day, wouldn't it be just so much easy? Hey, here you go. Here's the keys to the house.
Fatality.
Everything in this life, you got to work for it. A virtuous woman is no different.